Okay. All right. Okay. I'll chant. I'll begin chanting prayers. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtham Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Supadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagar Jatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णकरुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तु ते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Okay, requesting everyone to kindly repeat Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ॐ नमो भगवते
भगवते
वासुदेवाय।
वासुदेवाय।
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ॐ
ॐ
नमो
नमो
भगवते
भगवते वासुदेवाय।
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 Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ॐ नमो
ॐ नमो
भगवते
भगवते वासुदेवाय।
वासुदेवाय।
Okay, so we are beginning from beginning reading text 10 of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And again, where are we right now? So the sages of Naimisharanya have gathered, and Suta Goswami, they are meeting Suta Goswami. The sages of Naimisharanya have gathered to perform 1,000-year sacrifice. And um, they have gathered to perform this for the welfare of the whole world because Kali Yuga is coming. And in that assembly, Suta Goswami appears. Suta Goswami has heard Bhagavatam spoken by Shukadev Goswami. Shukadev Goswami is the son of Vyasadev, and he heard it from Vyasa. Vyasa is the author of the Srimad Bhagavatam and is an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, just a few things there to remember. So, now the sages of Naimisharanya, headed by Shaunaka. So, we might get a bit confused with the names a little bit here because you have Shukadev, Shaunaka, Suta, and then later on you'll see Shringi, and it all looks like Sha 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 Sha, and you might like kind of get mixed up. So try to keep that in mind. Shukadev Goswami is the son of Vyasadev. Shukadev spoke Bhagavatam to Parikshit. Vyasadev wrote the Srimad Bhagavatam. After he wrote, he instructed it to Shukadev. Shukadev then spoke it to Maharaj Parikshit. When he spoke it to Maharaj Parikshit, there were many people there assembled. Narada was there, Suta Goswami was there, many other rishis were there. So Suta Goswami heard it in that assembly. After hearing it there, he goes and meets the sages at Naimisharanya, and they request him to speak the Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is where, and now Shaunaka, who is the head of the sages of Naimisharanya, is requesting Suta Goswami to relate the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ultimately, he's asking him to relate the Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so here very important verse. These are the very nice verses. This is why I'm covering this, and then later we'll go to I think Kunti Maharani's prayers. Okay, text 10. प्रायेणाल्पायुषः सभ्य कलावस्मिन् युगे जनाः मन्दा सुमन्दमतयो मन्दभाग्या ह्युपधृताः. So here you can see what does this mean? Prayena alpa ayusha. So in this Oh, learned one, in this age, in this iron age of Kali, men are almost always have short lives. They almost always but have short lives. They are quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, unlucky, and above all, always disturbed. These are, Prabhupada used to quote this verse very much. This describes the people of the age of Kali. In this age of Kali, how are people? So it's called the Iron Age. Today, I was hearing, I was giving a class in the morning, and I quoted Srila Prabhupada in a conversation. He says in a lecture, actually, he calls the age of Kali the age of misguidance. Very interesting that he's calling this age of Kali as the age of misguidance. Everybody is misguided. Everyone is misguided in this age. So why? So because they are unlucky. They are unlucky. They are misguided. So as you can see here, so in this age of Kali, what do people have? First of all, they have short lives. Okay, they don't live very long. And in that short life, they screw it up so bad. How do they screw it up so bad? They're always quarrelsome. They fight over everything. Everything people fight over. Second, they are lazy. If they are not forced to work, they won't work. Most of the people, that's one of the problems that happens when you have some socialist governments, is they start giving out food stamps, and they start giving out free money because people don't have employment. So what people do, they collect these unemployment checks, and what do they do with them? Just waste the money and don't work. That's all. Just lazy and misguided. What do they waste their money on? They waste their money on all kinds of nonsense things. Recently, I heard a devotee. It's very sad. He worked so hard, this, that, but not very intelligent. Somehow, somebody tells him to go and put his money somewhere. He goes and puts $40,000 in some stocks or something. He goes and invests in, and he loses all of that money. Was a bad. He put it. Oh, yeah, put it in some crypto. Somebody told him to put it in something. He goes and puts it there. He loses everything. Loses everything. And people are misguided also. They go to all these cheater swamis, gurus, and all these people. What will they get? Nothing. And therefore they become unlucky. They are unlucky. See, not only that, they are unlucky also. Why unlucky? Because in this age, excuse me, in this age, there are so many problems that you have so many natural disasters. You have governments that are not good. They are born to parents who don't care for them. They work under people who just want to exploit them. The whole society is just cheating. Everybody is cheating. Immediately, you little bit, if people understand that you are little simple or this and that, somebody will come and cheat you. So unlucky. And above all, always disturbed. People are always disturbed in this age. Prabhupada's purport is very nice here. Prabhupada says the devotees of the Lord are always anxious for spiritual improvement of the general public. When the sages of Naimisharanya analyze the state of the affairs, they foresaw that the men would have short lives. So it's so short. Why? Prabhupada says duration of life is shortened, not so much because of insufficient food, but because of irregular habits. Note why Prabhupada is saying here, why do we have short lives? It's not because we don't have enough food. It is because we have irregular habits. One of the first things that comes up, as we saw it also in the introduction of the Bhagavatam, that one should follow Krishna consciousness with a routine program. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Yuktahara viharasya yukta chestasya karmasu yukta swapnava bodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha. That the yogi destroys miseries. How? How does he destroy miseries? Yukta aharya. Ahara viharasya. He eats, doesn't eat too much, doesn't eat too little. Yukta chestasya karmasu. And he doesn't work too much, he doesn't work too hard, he doesn't work too little. You don't work too hard and you don't work too little either. Yukta chestasya karmasu. Yukta swapnava bodhasya. He doesn't sleep too much, he doesn't sleep too little. And by doing this, yoga bhavati dukkha. He dukkha, he destroys his unhappiness. He destroys misery. So, Prabhupada says here, By keeping regular habits and eating simple food, any man can maintain his health. Overeating, over sense gratification, over dependence on another's mercy, and artificial standards of living sap the very vitality of human energy. Therefore, the duration of life is shortened. So, one of the first things we get in Krishna consciousness is one needs to have a routine program. And how does that routine program begin? The routine program begins by waking up early. One has to wake up early, and one has to have a certain time that one is chanting one's rounds, and one should read Prabhupada's books every day, and you eat relatively at fixed times and this and that, then your life is not. Now, what is the problem? Why are people unlucky? Because the job doesn't allow them to do all this. Even if you want to do it, in today's day and atmosphere, it's very hard to do it. So, from this, we can understand the duration of life becomes shortened. And Prabhupada says very nice, so many nice points, right? We could just talk just on this. Overeating. We spoke about that. Over sense gratification. If one tries to gratify his senses too much, then also one will lose life. All this pornography, masturbation, complete waste, waste, so much waste. Similarly, if one is trying to live too comfortable, artificial standards of living, some little austerity actually has to be there. But nowadays in this world, we are not even supposed to sweat a little bit. We are not supposed to feel little heat, little cold. Nothing we'll tolerate. Everything is so artificial. Somebody was telling me the other day that all these, like nowadays, all the shoes you get, they have all this gel and all this cushion and everything. What happens is most people's foot now becomes weak. They can't walk barefoot. They can't walk on solid ground. Immediately they get too much pain. And then they have to use more and more of these artificial things. But the more and more of these artificial things only worsen the body. So, like this, over dependent on another's mercy. This also we see today. What is that? Everybody is working for a salary. And that salary, you're just dependent. You're dependent. Everybody is praying that they don't get fired from their job. Now the economy is not so good. Always, I have my brother. He lives in Austin, and he works for General Motors. And always he's afraid that he may lose his job. Over dependence, which gives anxiety. And that anxiety will kill you. It reduces your life. So people of this age, therefore, and Prabhupada says, not, and they're very lazy. Not materially, not only materially, but in the matter of self-realization. So that's the other point, that people are not interested in self-realization. They're not interested. They don't care about these things, and therefore they are lazy. Prabhupada explains that a little bit there. He says, but due to a bad system of education, people have no desire for self-realization. Even if they come to know about it, they unfortunately become victims of misguided teachers, because this is not taught. This is not taught in the schools. And therefore, Prabhupada called the schools and universities as slaughterhouses. The universities that people glorify so much. Everybody, nobody likes to hear this, especially Indians. They don't like criticizing modern education. They think that modern education is really the best thing that can ever happen. It's the worst thing that can happen. It turns people into asses. They lose all intelligence. All they are trained to is to become obedient workers for somebody who's going to sap their very life and energy and their blood just so that he can make a lot of money and throw a few dog biscuits to them, and they think that I'm getting salary and I'm happy. More and more and more, this is becoming apparent. People are working 2 jobs, 3 jobs, 4 jobs, and still they are not able to make ends meet. But still, they'll think that this education is the best thing, and they have to make their children also educated and everything. Prabhupada was very much against modern education. He wanted devotees to teach children Krishna consciousness. He wanted them to learn practical skills, not some funny education that you learn for 12 years. Even I remember, practically speaking, everything that I learned in school, except math, I learned how to count, I learned some grammar, I learned how to read and write. But apart from that, you can consider most of the education that we learned completely useless. What is the point of learning so many of those things that we learned? So many of those things that we learned in biology, chemistry, physics, and so many of the other subjects that we learned, social sciences, History, we learned history, so much history we learned. What's the use of all of that? How many hours, how many days, how many months have we wasted on these things? So we learn all these useless things, and then literally people don't know how to even write a check. We don't know. You give them a check, they don't know how to write it. They don't know what it means. You don't understand taxes. We don't understand how you can, like, how you're supposed to manage money, how you're supposed to store money, how you're supposed to, like, none of these things are actually taught. Anything that is practical is not taught. And you go out there, you get nicely cheated. So we are not taught. We're not taught. Okay, everybody needs a house, but you're never taught how to buy a house. You're never taught that. You're never taught how to build a house. Everybody needs a house. Who teaches us cooking? Everybody has to eat. They won't teach that in school. What is the use of this education? So, anyways, then Prabhupada says, when men are victims not only of different political creeds and parties, but also of many different types of sense gratificatory diversions, such as cinema, sports, gambling, clubs, mundane libraries, bad associations, smoking, drinking, cheating, pilfering, bickerings, and so on. So, let's go over each one of these. Cinemas, another waste of nonsense. I would remember, especially when I was, when as I was slowly becoming uh, a devotee, we would still go into movies because, you don't know anything better. But one thing I would notice is that you're very excited before the movie, and after the movie, generally you're depressed. It's not a great feeling when you come out of the movie. And it's the same thing when you go to, and if you go to, like, people like to come to Orlando in the United States. Why? Because there's Disneyland there. And what's the whole idea behind Disneyland? It's like living in a movie for one full day. And you blow so much money in that. And out of everything, when you come back, you lost a lot of money, and whatever you experience is all illusion. But you still are like, okay, at least I can go and live in this dreamland for one day. And imagine, like, all my problems don't exist. I go and experience this. So people ask, Prabhuji, what's the problem with some entertainment? What's the problem with some little entertainment? Why are you against some entertainment? The problem is that it's a waste of time. Entertainment, what it really is it's time that you take, it's a dope that you take to forget the problems of today. That's all. Okay, does that mean we have to always remember our problems? No. But by forgetting your problems don't go away, sir. Just by forgetting about your problems or sometimes makes you feel better, but that's not the solution. We in the Krishna consciousness movement are not trying to make you remember your problems. We are talking about the ultimate solution where your problems can actually be solved. We are not interested in some stopgap solution where we can cheat you, get some money out of you in the name of entertainment. What is entertainment? It's all money. We think it's entertainment. We think we are the enjoyer. We are the exploited. We are not the enjoyer. We are the exploited. And the education system has made us such ullus, such fools, that we argue, why can I not go and spend my money and enrich somebody else's pocket in the name of entertainment? And we argue like this. Sports is the same thing. Today's sports, it's sports and gambling. They're basically the same thing. What has it got to do with gambling? What's wrong if I watch some cricket match? The thing is, if you understand what's behind that cricket match, you will understand it's a whole bunch of sinful activities. A lot of sinful activities. The level of advertisement that goes in, the amount of millions of dollars people give. You tell me, is there any worth in a cricket match for anybody in anybody else's life? If cricket did not exist in the world today, would it make any difference to practically people's lives? No, it doesn't make a difference. It's only a mental thing that people get together. India versus Pakistan. Because a few people hit a ball and a bat, they hit some ball with a bat, does not make India better and does not make Pakistan less, um, does not make Pakistan inferior. This is how they've brainwashed us. It's completely nonsense. And what do you end up doing? We end up watching a lot of advertisements in the meantime, And when we watch all those advertisements, all our material desires increase because you buy this, buy that, buy this, buy that. And then they make so much money by getting people to come into a stadium, waste so much electricity in trying to flood. They call floodlights because it looks like daylight. How much power those things use, but nobody will talk about all of that. And they think you're being so pessimistic. No. Oh, Prabhuji, what's wrong if we have some sports for exercise? Exercise you do. Why turn it into a sense gratificatory competition? We are adult men, we are not kids. Adults shouldn't be engaged in these kind of activities. What should they be engaged? Well, we have to maintain our bodies and we have to strive towards self realization. Oh, that's because people get upset because they think self realization has no happiness in it. We don't know that actually Krishna consciousness is the greatest happiness. There is a reason why why our shastras say we should be chanting Hare Krishna 24 hours a day. It's not a punishment. It's supposed to be the greatest bliss. But until we give ourselves to that process, as long as we are constantly diverted by these things, we will not understand Krishna. We just won't. So gambling is the same thing. It's just gambling, betting, clubs, nightclubs, all these kind of things. No need to even explain. Mundane libraries is another thing. That sense gratificatory diversion. Those who like to read, those who like to gather knowledge, they just keep going on gathering knowledge, reading about this, reading about that. And there's some sense gratification there, some mental sense gratification of learning about how penguins walk, or some history of this particular country or this particular personality, or reading about some how the atmosphere works, or whatever. Bad association. Bad association means what? Any association that makes us forget Krishna, any association that increases our material desires, this is bad association. Smoking, drinking, cheating, no need to pilfering, bickerings. Bickering, we bicker about everything and we waste so much time in this out of little ego battles. And because of this, their minds are always disturbed and full of anxiety due to many different engagements. In this age, many unscrupulous men manufacture their own religious faiths which are not based on any revealed scriptures. And very often, people who are addicted to sense gratification are attracted by such institutions. So that's the other thing that people manufacture. They manufacture religious systems. There's one Hindu group. I went to their temple, and on their temple, they decorate the altar with Spider Man. There's Spider Man, there is Superman, and all these kind of things. Why? Because it has something to do. And then they're celebrating the birthday of their guru. And the decorations are it's very mundane. The gifts that they put, it's very mundane. Apparently, why they put Spider Man and this and that is because it's the birthday of one of the people they worship. And the birthday means he's now a little child. So they want to give him gifts. What gifts do they give? Spider Man, Superman. This is the kinds of things you will put on the altar. Normalizing nonsense. Normalizing absolute nonsense. That we are so much into sense gratification that we superimpose our sense gratificatory ideas upon religion, and we turn that into our religion. This is what is happening today. And they also advertise this, right? Like if you look at Diwali advertisements, previously people would make sweets. In Diwali, you make different sweets, badusha, kaju katli, this that, and you make some, this chakli, or some namkeen or something like this. But nowadays, how do they advertise? They give a nice plate. Everybody is dressed very nicely. This that, and they put and there's dairy milk, chocolate, eclairs is there. People who don't buy these kind of things. This is not traditional sweets. But they manufacture these kind of religious systems and their religious faiths whereby they think, or just like one of the apasampradayas that were there in Bengal, in the name of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Gaudiyas, one of theirs was called Gauranga Nagaris. And the guru or one of these upper sampradayas. I don't remember exactly which one, but basically they the idea is that disciples should offer everything to the guru, right? So disciple should offer everything to the guru. So when the disciple gets married, he offers his wife to the guru. So what happens is it became a custom, such a nonsense. It became a custom where somebody would get married and the wife would go and spend the first night with the guru, because the guru has to enjoy everything of the disciple first, and then it goes, and then the wife is given back to the husband as prasad. This is the kind of bogus religious faiths that are taken, and people follow this because they are attracted to sense gratification. They like it. They like it very much. I saw one photo um, the other day. Um, Let me see if I can. I don't know if I can pull this up, but um, um, it's not Statue of Unity. What is it? Statue of Equality? Ah, yeah. Um, and then you see this? See this? This is bogus. Why is this bogus? They superimpose the flag on Ramanujacharya. Ramanujacharya is above the bodily concept of life. He does not distinguish anybody in any, he's an Acharya, is a Vaishnava. He is not restricted to a particular nationality. It is not that Ramanujacharya is saying Jai Hind, or is saying, Jai Hindustan, and Bharat, Mera Bharat Mahan. No, they don't look at these kind of temporary designations, and they don't associate themselves with that. This flag, putting the flag of India, that means that if anybody who carries this flag should also be simultaneously against Pakistan. So all this kind of nonsense, this is what has happened today. And people like this. They think, yes, it's wonderful. And this happened in the United States also, right? You have entire photos with Trump and Jesus. I can see that, you can see this. So then you can see there's some image like this where Trump and Jesus is there. So you see that? So it's as if Jesus is protecting Trump. People like this kind of stuff. They like this kind of stuff. Then they superimpose that. Yes, Jesus is protecting America. And you know what? Jesus curse Russia. Nonsense. Nonsense. And but people like this. They like that. They like that because they addicted to their sense gratifications, are attracted by such institutions. So much more can be said about this. Consequently, in the name of religion, so many sinful acts are being carried on that people in general have neither peace of mind nor health of body. The student brahmachari communities are no longer being maintained, and householders do not observe the rules and regulations of the grahastha ashram. Consequently, the so-called vanaprasthas and sannyasis who come out of the grahastha ashramas are easily deviated from the rigid path. So this is another important point to understand, that the brahmachari communities are no longer maintained. Do we see that? Do we see that within our own movement? In North America, how many brahmacharis do you see? It is supposed to be that every temple is supposed to have some brahmacharis. And it is supposed to be that the Hare Krishna movement has to maintain brahmacharis. Why? Because we have to emphasize celibacy. It's a very, very important aspect of Vedic culture. It's a very important aspect of human civilization. Otherwise, there is no difference between humans and animals. Animals also born, and just before as they grow up as kids, they don't have the ability to have sex. The moment they have ability to have sex, they have sex. They have children. They also have families. There is also affection between the couple there. There is affection between the parents and their offspring. What is the difference? The difference is that in human civilization, celibacy is emphasized. Why? To restrain from sense gratification. Why restrain from sense gratification? To give time, effort, and intelligence and mind dedicated to the cause of becoming Krishna conscious. This is the point. But The house, their brahmacharis are not maintained. Brahmacharis have to go and fend for themselves. No. Actually, it is the duty of grihasthas to maintain the three ashrams: brahmacharis, vanaprasthas, and sannyasis. But it is a fact. Even in our temple, we, we say proudly that we maintain ourselves through book distribution. But frankly speaking, the money that is coming from book distribution should be used for furthering more preaching activities. For instance, we are having the farm community. All that Lakshmi that comes from the money from the book distribution can be used for building things on the farm. And us, brahmacharis, we should be maintained by grihasthas. And the grihasthas should feel that you have to maintain brahmacharis. The brahmacharis have to be maintained. Why? Because the brahmacharis have dedicated their life to the mission of the Guru and they are furthering the mission of the Guru. And we have to all have feeling for the mission of the Guru. So this is an important aspect of Vedic culture. Same thing for Vanaprasthas. The Vanaprasthas have to be maintained. If the Vanaprasthas are maintained, if all facilities, and back in the day, people who were earning money in India, they would do all of this. They would open dharmashalas, they would open mutts, they would contribute, they would open temples, build temples. This is what rich people used to do. Therefore, you have some things like Birla Temple, this, that. There are many dharmashalas in the name of different rich people in the past. Now everything is lost. Now, what do rich people do? They go and invest their money in political parties so that they can get their lobbying and they can make more money, bribing this person, bribing that person, going and buying. A person, one family, one person buys 15 properties and he buys all these properties. What does he do with all the income? He buys more properties. There is no limit to this. He don't come very miserly, extremely miserly. Don't contribute because they are all they just think about this limited life that they have. They don't think that when they die they can't carry one paisa away. And in the meantime, they're not even pious enough to understand that they have to contribute to all these things so that it is an investment for their own future. But they don't understand all that kind of investment. They only understand money investment and investment into what about investment in your own future life? No, they don't have no understanding about all of this. What is the benefit? By the grihasthas, by maintaining the renunciants, they get the benefit. And they become free from their sinful activities. And not only that, their own natural tendency to accumulate that money and then spend it on unnecessary things will reduce. So, therefore, and then Prabhupada says, consequently, the vanaprasthas and sannyasis who come out of the ashram are deviated. Then you have all these sannyasis and vanaprasthas, people who are just married again and again, divorce again and again. They don't follow any proper rules and regulations. In Kali Yuga, the whole atmosphere is surcharged with faithlessness. And then that they say also. And grihasthas, oh, I don't know how you're going to use my money. I don't think that, all these institutions, there's always some cheating going on. So you use that excuse and you continue using all the money for your sense gratification, go to hell. Is that a solution? Okay. Yes, there is cheating. Yes, there are bogus sannyasis. Yes, there is all these problems. Does that mean the genuine thing doesn't exist? And why does these kind of arguments come? Because of faithlessness. You don't have faith that Krishna is God. Don't have faith that there is a parampara system. You don't think that the pure teachings will carry on somehow or the other by the power of Lord Chaitanya. That means we have placed more faith in Maya than we have placed in Krishna. We think, no, it's not possible in this age, Kali Yuga, that's all. I'm just going to do, I will only give money that directly it will go to the deity. Directly only for this purpose, I will throw $100 there. That's all. That's it, finished. But otherwise, big donation, no. Because why? Still the same controlling mentality. I have to control all the money. Okay. Understood. You need to find a genuine organization. But at the same time, the whole purpose of donating money is to develop a certain level of renunciation. You do your homework, you try to see that the devotees are genuine and this and you give the money, you can ask a few questions, but you can't control every single, how every single dollar is being spent. And that is not your duty also. Krishna doesn't expect that. And the result of your donation does not depend on on you controlling every mind you think, because it's just not possible. It's not possible. But people become bewildered like this. So, therefore, material sense gratification, men are no longer interested in spiritual values. Material sense gratification is now the standard of civilization. For the maintenance of such material civilizations, man has formed complex nations and communities, and there is constant strain of hot and cold wars between these different groups. Prabhupada wrote this before he came to the United States in the early 1960s. It is as true as it is as true as it was then today. This truth is true for today as it was back then. It has become very difficult, therefore, to raise the spiritual standard due to the present distorted values of human society. The sages of Naimisaranya are anxious to disentangle all the fallen souls, and here they are seeking the remedy from Srila Sutta Goswami. Such an amazing verse, it's a very important verse. Prayana Alpayusha Sabhya Kalavasmin Yuge Janaha Mandasu Mandamatayo Mandavagya Hyupadrataha. Okay, text 11. भू भूरिणी भूरि कर्माणि श्रोतव्यानि विभागशः अतः साध्योऽत्र यत्सारं समुद्धृत्य मनीषया ब्रूहि भद्राय भूतानां येनात्मा सुप्रसीदति. So, such beautiful Sanskrit. It's so nice to even just hear this, recite this. What is the meaning? Bhurini bhuri karmani shrotavyani vibhagashaha. Let me go to the There are many varieties of scriptures, and in all of them there are many prescribed duties, which can be learned after only many years of studies in their various divisions. Therefore, O sage, please select the essence of all these scriptures and explain it for the good of all living beings. That by such instructions their heart may be fully satisfied. Just see, the sages of Naimisharanya, they are preluding that Pray and Alpa, the people are always disturbed, they're very anxious. Now, so many scriptures are there, so many instructions are there, and to read all of this takes so many years. To understand all of this, first you have to learn Sanskrit, then you have to go and study under an Acharya, and then you have to understand all of these different stories, and each of the Puranas are so huge. How can we read all of this? We don't have time. Therefore, please pick out the essence and explain it. For whom? For, as it said over here, very nice. Bruhi Bhadraya Bhutanam, for the benefit of all living beings. Yenatma Suprasidati, by which the living entities will become happy. Suprasidati. Prasidati becomes happy, Suprasidati very happy. So if you read the word to word, Suprasidati becomes fully satisfied. Yenatma Suprasidati. And which becomes satisfied? Not the belly, not the genitals, not the eyes, not the ears, no, not the body, no. Not our relatives, not our wife, not our kids, not our parents. No, this the Atma, the self, who we really are. The self becomes satisfied. So, purport, Srila Prabhupada, Atma or self is distinguished from matter or material elements. It is spiritual in constitution, and thus it is never satisfied by any amount of material planning. This is the point, that the Atma will never be satisfied with any amount of material planning. And the living entity, he goes from one material form to another material form, thinking that, oh, here I have not found happiness, there I will find happiness. I will find some new form of sense enjoyment. Today, this time I decided to go. Now I'm sick and tired of visiting this park. Tomorrow I'll go and find different park. I have gone and seen this place. Tomorrow I'll go and sightseeing in some other place. I've eaten this type of food. Tomorrow I will eat another type of food. I like this restaurant. Now I'm sick and tired of this restaurant. I'll go to that restaurant. I read the newspaper today. Now I don't want to look at it again. Tomorrow when newspaper comes, it will be something more exciting. Instagram, one video, next video, next video, next video, next video, never ending misery. So that the Atma will never be satisfied by these things. It will not be satisfied. All scriptures and spiritual instructions are meant for the satisfaction of the Atma. This is the purpose of the Shastra. It is to satisfy our Atma, because once the Atma is satisfied, once our soul is satisfied, we will not hanker anymore. And hankering, people think hankering, chasing is happiness. Chasing is not happiness. Hankering is not happiness. Happiness is hankering is the hope that there will be happiness. Hankering, working very hard and thinking I'm making money and I'm going to invest the money, I'm going to buy a house. The whole idea is that once I get the house, I'm going to be very happy. Then after you get the house, you seek some other happiness because that happiness becomes stale. This is not happiness. This is hankering, is just chasing after happiness. And the word that is used is that it is manasija, it is in the mind. The mind is dreaming about different things and you are happy about that dream. But when the actual product comes, the happiness doesn't last very long. So the Atma needs to be satisfied. Then all that hankering stops. There are many varieties of approaches which are recommended for different types of living beings in different times in different places. Consequently, the number of revealed scriptures are innumerable. There are different methods of prescribed duties recommended in these various scriptures, taking into consideration the fallen condition of the people in general. In this age of Kali, the sages of Naimisharanya suggested that Sri Sudha Goswami relate the essence of such scriptures because in this age it is not possible for all fallen souls to understand and undergo all the lessons of these various scriptures in a Varna and Ashrama way. The Varna and Ashrama society was considered the best institution for lifting human being to the spiritual platform. But due to Kali Yuga, it is not possible to execute the rules and regulations of these institutions. Nor is it possible for people in general to completely sever relationships with their families as the Varnashrama institution prescribes. The whole atmosphere is surcharged with opposition. And considering this, one can see that the spiritual emancipation of the common man in this age is very difficult. The reason the sages presented this matter to Sri Sudha Goswami is explained in the following verses. Okay, text 12. Suta janasi badhram te bhagavan satvatam patihi devakyam vasudevasya jato yasya chikirshaya. All blessings upon you, O Suta Goswami. You know for what purpose the personality of Godhead appeared in the womb of Devaki as the son of Vasudev. So only a devotee understands the purpose of the Lord's appearance. Krishna states that in Bhagavad Gita, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutanam adharmasya tadatmanam sujamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha duskritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. If you don't know this translation, please go and read Bhagavad Gita. This is a very important verse. Krishna says, Yada yada hi dharmasya, whenever adharma or dharma, yada yada hi dharma glanihi, dharmasya glanihi, when dharma reduces, when righteousness, when religious principles are lost, dharmasya glanihi, then yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhaviti bharata abhyutanam adharmasya adharma becomes increased. Then Krishna appears. Why? Why does he appear? Paritranaya sadhunam, to protect the devotees. Why? Because the devotees follow dharma. Devotees should be dharmic. Devotees should not live like hogs and dogs. Devotees should live like human beings. They have to follow dharma. And dharma generally refers to the Varnashrama institution. What does that mean? It doesn't. We cannot follow all the rules and regulations of the Varnashrama system. That, for instance, all the grahasthas are supposed to perform Pancha Mahayagya. But we don't perform all those Pancha Mahayagyas. We chant Hare Krishna, and that is considered to satisfy all the requirements of all the yagyas. So we chant our 16 rounds every day without fail. But just because we don't follow Varnashrama institution doesn't mean that we can neglect our spouse and we can run after somebody else's spouse and divorce and remarry and have no sense of rules or regulations of any sort. No, that's not what is indicated. So the point is that the Supreme Lord appears to protect the devotees because the devotees are dharmic in nature and they are ultimately, they have taken shelter of Krishna. Vinashaya cha dushkritam, and all the rascals, fools, and atheists and demons, they are destroyed. They are vanquished. Their plans are foiled. And that's the nature of the material world. People may make very, very big empires, big plans, this, that. By the force of time, everything is destroyed. How many rich people have come and gone? How many emperors and kings and important people? They've all gone. There is one saying, very nice saying. I think it was quoted by a devotee. I'm not sure. That's what I think it is. I think Jayadvaita Maharaj said this or something. He says, the graveyard is full of indispensable people. people who thought themselves to be indispensable. The graveyard is full of them. Indispensable means they thought that without them, their family will not run, their business will not run, the world will not run, the government will not run, like this. They're all dead and gone, and everything is going on. So, um, so the Dushkritis, they don't understand all of this, and ultimately their plans are foiled. Just by the agency of time, everything is solved. Vinashaya cha Dushkrita. Then Dharma Samsthapanarthaya. Krishna has come to establish the Dharma, and in this age, Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nama Kevalam, Kalau Nastyeva, Nastyeva, Nastyeva Gatir Anyatha. That the holy name alone is the sole means and the only means of deliverance in this age. And that in this age, Harinama Sankirtanam is the Yuga Dharma that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself, Krishna incarnate, he has come to establish this. And therefore, here only devotees understand that purpose. That why is this being asked? Because the sages of Naimisharanya know Kali Yuga has come. And here, Dharmasya glanihi, abhyuttanam adharmasya. And Vinash, and there will be so many dushkritis. How are the devotees, Paritranaya Sadhanam, how are the devotees going to get protected? Through the agency of the Srimad Bhagavatam. They understand that the Supreme Lord has appeared for this purpose, and he has, of course, yes, Krishna came, he killed all the demons, he protected the devotees, he spoke Bhagavad Gita, he established Dharma, he established Yudhishthir Maharaj, but that's not the end, because now Kali Yuga is coming, so there must be some purpose. And the point is, the Srimad Bhagavatam secretly reveals the incarnation of Lord Chaitanya later. So, ultimately, yeah, so Prabhupada says here in the purport that the Bhagavan means Almighty God. And although God is equally disposed to everyone, he is specially inclined to his devotee. Sat means absolute truth. And persons who are servitors of the absolute truth are called Sattvatas. So the personality Godhead protects such pure devotees. Bhadramte, blessings upon you, indicates the sage's anxiety to know the absolute truth. So, and who is that Supreme Lord? He is the son of Devaki and Vasudeva. So, this is again important point that Supreme Lord here is specifically said to be the son of Devaki and Vasudeva, not Shiva, not Durga, not Ganesha, not Kartikeya, none of the other Surya, Chandra, Vayu, none of these personalities. The Supreme Personality Godhead is declared unequivocally as Devakyam Vasudevasya. So Jato, he appeared as the son of Devaki and Vasudeva. Okay, it's 7:48. I'm going to stop here. We'll continue from text 13 in the next class. Are there any questions or comments? Please feel free to ask. Yes, Narayan.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dhanmar Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Prabhuji, when you mentioned about the sense gratification, so like let's say how like the devotees who are neophytes, how they distinguish like this is the sense gratification, and if they are doing it, how to stop like yourself or others as well, not others but particularly let's say you or your family. So how do you stop it?
I mean, that has to be done under guidance. It also depends on the sincerity of the devotee. How to know whether something is sense gratification or not? You need to have knowledge. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. The Guru gives that knowledge that one is in ignorance. By hearing from devotees regularly, by reading Srila Prabhupada's books, by associating with those who are really devotees, one gets an idea of what is sense gratification, what is not sense gratification. We have no idea otherwise. I never heard of this word also before I came to Krishna consciousness. What to speak of knowing what is sense gratification? You didn't even know the word of it. That's how you think. That's how you think you have to live. Yeah, my grandmother used to say that her aunt used to tell her that the purpose of earning is to eat nicely. That's all. What is there more in life? If you ultimately in life, if you can have a good meal, what is higher than that? That was her concept of happiness. So they think that what is wrong? I earn money, I can spend it in whatever way I like. And that they think is right royal. I have won the right for sense gratification. But this how far it goes. The West is a perfect example of this. In India, they say, oh, see, you should also think about long term financial goals and save money, this, that. But eventually, you can see youngsters are not interested in all of this. And most of the time, they don't have enough money, they don't have enough time, enough money to save and get some house and this and that. So what they do, every weekend go and blow everything, earn the next week, save money, and then go and blow it that again. That's all. You can see this very prominent in today's day and age.
So Prabhuji, one follow-up question, like usually I personally have heard multiple times from even my family, they say that you get human birth once, so at least live your life. Like it's fine to not to eat and like meat and all that, but you should at least live your life to the fullest. You you don't get like you're not gonna get birth again. But at the same time, we have read in the books like there are 400,000 human species only. So then how do we distinguish that there are so many?
Just because they say doesn't mean it's true.
Yeah, no.
This is all Western education influence. The
Mhm.
Christians and Muslims, the Abrahamic religions, the Jews, they don't know anything about reincarnation. That's why their religious system is actually low class, because it hardly has any knowledge. What sort of knowledge is this? They cannot even explain why somebody is born poor, why somebody is born rich, why somebody is born black, why somebody is born tall, why somebody is born with disabled. Why? They cannot explain any of these things. They say God created, God is all merciful. If He's all merciful, why did He put one kid in the middle of the African jungle and the kid just starves and dies? Born and starves and dies. That's all. What kind of life is this? How does it get Jesus' mercy? They have no understanding. And they say that yes, at the end of this life, you have the day of judgment, and the day of judgment, God will chuck you either to hell or will elevate you to heaven if you join the right, you know, church or whatever, whoever they claim, if you follow Jesus or whatever. So this is all Western civilization, Abrahamic religions. They don't even have a conception of cyclical time. But if you look at everything in this universe, everything is cycle. Everything is cycle. The seasons are cycle. The planetary motions are all cycles. Therefore, birth, death, old age, and disease cycle. It's called Kala Chakra. So you're a human right now. You will become human again. We have been human so many times. But we have also become animals so many times. We've been insects so many times. We've been fish so many times. We've also been Indra many times. There is not a single form of sense enjoyment that we have not enjoyed. We just forgot about it. Oh, you get only human form only once. What sort of nonsense is this? How can you explain this philosophically? Does it make any sense? It doesn't make any sense. You cannot philosophically explain any of this. What to speak? What to speak? There are Bhakti Vikas Maharaj, he is trying to promote reincarnation as a fact because there is so many scientific evidences of reincarnation. Real scientific evidences of reincarnation. And what does that mean, scientific evidences of reincarnation? It means children who remember their past lives, and these children have no ability to know about their past lives. It's completely unrelated, such detail they could have never learnt as a small child in the situation that they were in. But what are they referring to? They were referring to another human birth. This is scientific evidence. So, what are people talking about? The fact of the matter is, we forget whatever. The fact of the matter, why we have this birth, is because we were not happy with the enjoyment that we experienced in the previous births. That is proof that you can actually never fully enjoy any birth. That hankering, if somebody says, I am fully satisfied, I have no desire, and they've lived their whole life as a karmi, and when they die, they think, I have no desire. I am now fully in the Brahman realization. Nonsense. Nonsense. It is not possible. Whatever hankering they have, yam yam vapi smaran bhavam, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, the science is there. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam, tyajatyante kalevaram, tam tamevaiti kaunteya, sadatad bhava bhavitaha. That whatever one thinks at the time of death, he will attain that state. Otherwise, how can you understand? Even now, later in this Bhagavatam, Narada Muni story is there. So Narada was the son of a Shudrani. He was the son of a low-class maidservant. What does that mean? He didn't even have his father. What does that mean? She was basically just some prostitute, low-class woman. But she was working. She had some piety. She was serving some sadhus. And then his mother got bit by a snake and died. And then Narada Muni, because of the mercy of the sadhus, he started roaming around and becoming self realized. And then what happens? In his next birth, he becomes Narada Muni. There are so many instances
Mhm.
of human birth, previous life, next life, and all of that.
Yeah.
As I said, there's scientific proof. What to speak? What do people have to say about that? Okay. Any other
Thank you,
question?
Guru.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Okay.
Krishna.
Yes. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, bro. So you just mentioned about that Indian flag on Ramanujacharya. But here in when we have a retreat in our temples in Toronto, so at the end of the retreat, they usually do the national anthem, and they say that one of our mother is Bharat Bhumi, so we have to do that. That's okay. So in front of the deities, everybody is singing Jana Gana Mana, and everybody is like glorifying Bharat Mata. So that is also wrong, right? That means.
The Bharat Mata. You tell me, they've put this image of Bharat Mata. This is Bharat Mata, holding something. You think such a personality exists? Just because they drew it, some personality exists, this Bharat Mata? This Bharat Mata did not, where was this Bharat Mata? When was she born? 1947? Suddenly she appeared. Who created her? Hmm? Some I'm sorry, this is such nonsense. The India was previously, it included Afghanistan, all the way till Afghanistan. Afghanistan was there, Sri Lanka was there, Bangladesh was there, Bhutan was there, Tibet was there, and all the way till Burma. This was actually India under the rule of the British people. And before that, under Maharaj Parikshit's rule, it was the whole world. So which is Bharat Mata? Who is your mother? Such nonsense. The idea where it actually comes from is Bhagavatam criticizes this. Swadikkalatradishu Bauma Aijya Dihi. Bauma Aijya Dihi. What is that Bauma Aijya Dihi? That people think. Let me pull this up. I have to try to. Let me see if I can pull it up. I closed Veda base. Okay. Advanced query. Bauma Aijya Dihi. Oh, sorry. I'll switch to Vedabase. Yatirtha buddhi salilena karhichit tirtha buddhi bhauma. Okay, there you go. Here, let me share this. Can everybody see this? Is it visible? Yasyatma buddhi gunapetri dhatake swadik kalatradishu bhauma aijya dihi yatirtha buddhi salilena karhichit janeshu abhijigneshu sayeva gokaraha. This is chapter canto 10 text chapter 84 text 13 of Srimad Bhagavatam. What does it say? One who identifies himself as the inert body composed of mucus, bile, and air, who assumes his wife and family are permanently his own, who thinks that the earthen image or the land of his birth is worshipable. Translation of Srimad Bhagavatam. Such a person is no better than a cow or an ass. This is word of Srimad Bhagavatam. It's not mine. Vyasadeva wrote this. And Prabhupada comments on that so much. Is the false identification. There is no, so this, anyways, I don't want to get into the purport, but the point is this, that one who thinks that one's land of birth is worship. Why is it worshipable? Because it is my land of birth. Same thing the Americans also feel. They have the Star Spangled Banner. That's their, song. They also feel like that. It's all nonsense. It's all really so much nonsense. That's all. It's very sad, actually. Now, does that mean, oh, you don't have any feeling? You don't have anything? Like, India is still the land where Krishna appeared and sages appeared and everything appeared? Yes, that's true. But not that flag India, not this democracy India. No, it is the spiritual land of India. And that spiritual land of India you worship by accepting the Vedic culture that was there, not some concoction that is now promoted in the name of political parties and political people for political agendas and to increase the materialistic desires of people simply in an attempt to ape and challenge the West. We are also making advancement. Pragati. So this is not. And they mix everything. They say, oh yeah, yeah, and then they glorify, something from Shastra. They take something from Shastra and then they relate it to their, thing. No. Um, our we worship the land. Yes, the land of India, especially this particular tract, the subcontinent of India, is a very, very pious land. It is a very, very worshipable place. But it's not worshipable because we were born. And the national anthem has nothing to do with that land. It really doesn't. That national anthem is actually, if anything, we open our land to everyone. We welcome all foreigners. We want to teach them. We need, and if we actually want to worship our land, then we have to spread this Indian culture, which Srila Prabhupada tried to spread so much. But in the name of worshipping, they chant all this national anthem and this and that, but they will wear their jeans pant, they will wear their they will wear their polo shirts, they will wear all of these things, and they have no conception of what is Vedic culture. Vedic culture is Varnashrama Dharma. Varnashrama Dharma means Brahmachari, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. This is Indian culture. This is Vedic culture. This is Bharat culture. And Bharat, who is Bharat is Bharat, King Bharat. You read about him in Bhagavatam. He was such a great devotee of the Lord. That is real worship of India. Not singing some national anthem, waving some flag that was created in 1947 by a group of people. No. Yes, everything needs to be governed and all of that, but this is the way this national identity is being convoluted in the name of spirituality. It's not very different. It's not different at all from how the Jews feel about Israel. The Jews, Israel is their worshipable land. And they mix that. They mix the modern state of Israel with the fact that, Israel is their land of birth or whatever. And they think that is God's land. And that they are God's children, chosen children. No. In fact, once we become a devotee, just because somebody, yeah, we may be Indians, but the moment somebody becomes a devotee, even if he's a Westerner, there is no difference. There is no difference. He's now a person who can also equally worship that land. But that land has to be worshipped in connection with Krishna. And Krishna wants the entire world to be like that land. But instead we keep boxing that land and keep raising this flag and keep boxing it up. Prabhupada didn't box it up. So anyways, there's so much more that can be said, but this is completely nonsense. One day I saw in one temple, I don't want to state which temple, on the Independence Day of India, I was in India this time, there are three altars: Gaurnitai, Radha Krishna, Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra. They dressed Gaurnitai in orange because they're all the way on the left, Radha Krishna in white, and Radha Krishna in white, but Krishna's desk has a chakra on it. And then all the way on the right, Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra is dressed in green. Why? It's a theme, it seems. Why? The deities are celebrating India's independence. Superimposing these kind of nonsense ideas. It's really sad. The deities celebrate eternal pastimes. India, the independence of India, this is a modern creation. The deities don't celebrate this. Acharyas don't celebrate temporary things in the material world. If we cannot understand what is eternal, what is temporary, then there is no hope. We have not understood anything. Our worship of everything turns mundane. We are just worshipping the temporary manifestation of India. And that is not the real India. That is not the real earth. That's not real Bharat. Okay, there's a lot of hands that have been raised. Vivek? Mm, I
Hare
guess.
Krishna, Prabhu. Sorry, I'm trying to find the unmute button. Prabhuji, for this one, I normally like one clarification I was looking for. When Lakshmana want to stay in Lanka by seeing all the riches and all, Ram is like land and mother are more auspicious than heaven, so you should not fall for these riches and luxuries, right? How to relate that one from the words of Rama?
See, this particular pastime is not accepted by the Vaishnavas.
Hmm.
It is not found in Valmiki Ramayana. It is not found in Kamba Ramayana. Lakshmana had nothing, he didn't want to have anything to do with Ravana's kingdom. In fact, Ravana's kingdom was more or less destroyed by the time Rama conquered it and captured Sita. There was still some of the kingdom left, but how much was actually destroyed? Um, I know that. I know the Janani Janma Bhumischa Swargameva Gariyase. This is the
Swargadapi Gariyasi. Yeah, that is
yeah.
the
I know. I've heard this.
national
Very,
slogan for Nepal also.
a very,
So,
very, very common saying. My understanding, and I'm not 100% sure, I think this comes from Ramacharita Manasa. It could be, or it could just be a folklore related to Lord Rama.
yeah, no, normally
And
it is a
if
folklore
it is,
only, I believe.
if it is
Yeah,
wherever it is, the point is it doesn't align with Shastra at all. Because we just hear from Srimad Bhagavatam, directly I'm quoting the verse here and I'm showing that runs
yeah,
directly
yeah.
against what the Bhagavatam is saying. Literally, the Bhagavatam is saying, Gokaraha, ass and cow. How can it be?
Hmm.
For the materialist, he may think like that, but it is not true. It is definitely not according to Shastra. So again, that's what I'm saying. That's how people are misguided. They manufacture religious systems, and and because they are so addicted to sense gratification, they fall for those kind of systems also. They don't think this doesn't make any sense. They won't think like that.
Yeah. And also, Prabhuji, according to the scriptures, people say like the people who are born, maybe for example in India, and they are sannyasis, they don't cross the ocean. Is that true?
So previously, it was such that sannyasis should not cross the ocean. When this was presented to Srila Prabhupada said it cannot be true because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted his mood and his mission to spread all over the world. How can one not cross the ocean? If one has to cross the ocean to fulfill the order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how can it be? That was Prabhupada's argument, and it's true. And the idea was that mainly it came from the point that if you cross the ocean, you went into the land of the Mlechas and the Yavanas. Anybody who went into that land is considered fallen because there is no way you can associate with those kind of people. You're just considered fallen. You're immediately considered outcast. So what to speak? Merchants, Vaishyas, they may go, they may do trade, they may come back, but sannyasis are supposed to be spiritual and they're not supposed to go. That was the understanding. But now, practically India also, it's not so much different in many ways. You can find the same degradation, more degradation you can find in Indian cities in some ways. Everything you can find, whatever you find here in the West, you can find in India. All the types of degradation is there. All the drugs you want are there. All the sex you want is there. All the nightclubs,
Now
everything,
more,
all the
Prabhuji.
every nonsense is there now. Without fail, is very easy to find also. So in that sense, there is no difference. So even
Yeah.
in that sense,
Now if
yeah,
you compare, India has more demonic luxuries than America.
yeah,
Yeah.
in many ways it's true. And
Yeah.
but yeah, and in India it's a weird situation, very weird situation. Recently it came up that on YouTube they called it bhajan jamming or bhajan clubbing or whatever they want to call it. This has become now very famous. What people do, they go and start all these like concerts, which devotees are also doing, which is another haribol, nothing to say, bogus thing. That's I have to state it as it is, where you buy tickets and it's a concert and they call it its holy name. Oh, this, that, but it's a concert. They dim the lights, they turn out disco lights, they play all kinds of instruments. It's just a big concert. But the what people this India, this is really good. Huh? People are very good at mismatching, mixing everything. You know, where now there is people have no lost all distinction. Where they serve alcohol, where they serve meat, they go and book that venue, and then they go and sing Sitaram, Jai Hanuman, and all these kind of things, and they actually think that it is spiritual, and they actually think it is wonderful. What has happened? People have lost all their intelligence. That's what has happened. And what is the thing? If they are so desirous to experience that atmosphere, but because some piety is still left, what they are trying to do, they are trying to mix everything. They want to enjoy that atmosphere without drinking, without doing this. But what will happen? What will happen is that eventually you will see drinks will be introduced in this. Everything will get introduced in the same atmosphere because that atmosphere is created to enjoy those things. This rasabas, you go and mix, time will tell 100% without fail. Our acharyas are fools, but they could also start disco club and do all of this, no? Somehow we have become more intelligent than all the predecessor acharyas and all the predecessor devotees. So, anyways, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, one last question.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the spiritual aspect or awakening most people are intrigued with is tapping the Kundalini. Do Vaishnavas believe in such a thing or have aspirations like that, like tapping the Kundalini?
No.
Okay.
Because this again, this Kundalini, this basically this Kundalini is nothing but a state of consciousness. Okay, they call it chakra awakening. Raising your the Kundalini through the chakras and all of this. So these words are there, and they are primarily derived from Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. But what is Patanjali's goal? He says Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha, that the purpose of yoga is to clear the mind of bad thoughts. But the Vaishnav culture goes beyond clearing the minds of bad thoughts. The idea is if you bring Krishna into your thoughts, where is the question of having bad thoughts? That automatically these things are taken care of. So we don't have to do a mechanical process of elevating our consciousness. We take shelter of Krishna himself, who is the source of all consciousness. And when we take shelter of him, automatically our consciousness becomes fixed. This is the easy process. The Kundalini and all of this you may do, but ultimately in today's day and age, the influences are so strong that we may do it. Temporarily, we will feel some benefit. Little, we may feel some change. But ultimately, in getting us from the cycle of birth and death, out of our sinful tendencies, out of our normal nature, it won't help. We have to chant Hare Krishna. We have to read, we have to do these things regularly, and we have to follow the process of Krishna consciousness. Automatically, all of these things are taken care of. Okay, Yash.
Thanks, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Pranam.
Pranam.
Prabhuji, my question is, in the reading we read about the sun's gratification, and and Naran Prabhu also asked about, but the question is, as being a practitioner devotee, we know what is right or what is wrong, or anikulya sasandalkalpa pratikulya sevarjanam. But for time being, as we grow in bhakti, go and go, but some things happens like, okay, we are doing it, but after some time it happens like, okay, we are doing it, Prabhuji, but still when it turns to the sinful activities, then like by doing like for instance, we are doing something which we know like we should not do this, okay, but we still keep going in Krishna bhakti, and after some time, I can't give a specific example, Prabhuji, but the thing is, after some time we still doing that, but we think, okay, we are doing it, it's part of a Krishna consciousness. For instance, preaching female, as a youngster, preaching any female Mataji, we are just
Yes,
preaching, it's not sense gratification.
with these kind of things, you have to understand that Maya is very strong, and Maya will always tempt us. One of the characteristics of Maya is that she has two energies. She's called Prakshepatmika, Avaranatmika. Prakshepatmika, Avaranatmika. So Prakshepatmika means if somebody is trying to escape Maya, she takes them and tries to fling them back into the material world. Avaranatmika means to bewilder, to capture. So the moment we become a little loose, little in Krishna consciousness, then Maya creeps in. Maya never sleeps. She doesn't take a break. She doesn't take holidays, no vacation, no Christmas, Thanksgiving, no Diwali vacation for Maya. Maya is always doing her task. So therefore, Tivrena Bhakti Yogena. But how to practice that Tivra Bhakti? By proper association. That when we are in proper association, yes, we may slip, we may fall, but then it will be pointed out to us. Somehow Krishna will point it out to us if we are in proper association. And that is our chance to rectify. It will take some time. We will make some mistakes. We have to understand that mistakes will happen. But at least if we are in proper association and we are humble, we will listen and we will correct ourselves. That's all. That's the process. We won't change overnight, and we cannot expect also that the only way these things are going to go away is if we practice Krishna consciousness strongly, seriously. But that's where the difficulty is. Difficulty is for us to chant our rounds attentively, to read Prabhupada's books every day, to follow that schedule. This is very hard in for many people, and then Maya creeps in. So we have to try, and as we are trying, as we are improving, wherever there are gaps, sometimes Maya will win, but ultimately, if the devotee is sincere and he's humble and he's taking good association, definitely he will make progress. Definitely Krishna will protect him. Certainly he will eventually go back home, back to God.
Yes, so for instance,
I should give somebody else also chance. Okay, Vedavyas Priya Prabhu.
Prabhu, I just want to comment on the national anthem. Actually, it was written by Rabindranath Tagore to glorify the Queen of England.
Oh, is it? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yes, Prabhu. I've heard that somewhere. It's actually written to glorify the Queen, and they
Really?
part of that was taken as national anthem. It seems, Prabhu.
Oh, wow. Okay. Anyways, whatever. Okay. Yash, do you want to finish what you were saying? Or I guess it's like 8:18. So maybe we should conclude. If you want to ask, maybe you can just send me a message and I can reply. Okay. All right. So Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. We have a reading on Saturday, so requesting devotees to kindly participate. Then, and thank you very much for patiently listening. I hope to see you all on Saturday, and then again Tuesday, and then the class on Thursday. Okay, Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Panchakalpadru, Krishna Kripa Sindhu Bhyo Vachapaditanam Pavanebhyo Vaishvanebhyo Namo